You have to have really tough skin in the modeling industry, and it's similar in business where you can't let every single person's opinions bring you down, and you really have to know how to fight for yourself and fight for what's important to you.
Hi everyone, and welcome to How She Does It, where we connect with women who have achieved remarkable success in their lives, and we literally ask them, how do they do it? I'm Karen Finerman. I'm so pleased you took the time to join us today and get inspired by these amazing leaders. If you're checking out the podcast for the first time, thank you. You may have seen me on Fast Money on CNBC. I'm a long-term Wall Street investor, a mom of four, and a big WNBA fan. Here, we have conversations about the intersection of women, money, and power. And today, we've got a great episode. Do you remember what you were doing when you were 16? Well, I was a Californian, so my entire life's focus was on getting my driver's license. When Pritika Swarup was 16, she was doing all the normal high school things until a family trip to Disney World changed her life. She was approached by a modeling scout, and within a year, she was signed by a top agency, and the 5'9" tall teen was traveling the globe. She's appeared in campaigns for Ralph Lauren, Estee Lauder, Athleta, Fenty Beauty, and more. Along the way, she finished high school and graduated from Columbia University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in financial economics. In late 2021, she launched Prakti Beauty, inspired by the wellness traditions that are part of her Indian heritage. The model and CEO, who has 1.2 million Instagram followers, was recently signed by powerhouse agency CAA, and her company continues to grow. We talked about her glamorous life in front of the camera, her biggest lesson as a CEO, and the support system she can't live without. First of all, Pritika, thank you so much for being here. Really excited to meet you in person.
Thank you for having me. This is going to be a great day.
All right, so I got so much to ask you. I'll just jump right in.
Okay.
Your childhood, you're thinking about a career in medicine, right? Where did that come from?
So it really came from my father and the fact that everyone else in my family is a doctor. So, in our family, we have cardiovascular surgeons, eye surgeons. Just growing up in that environment, you're just naturally thinking, that's what I'm going to do. So I was on this pre-med track until I was scouted as a model, and that really opened up my eyes to other opportunities.
All right, so that is a crazy story. You're 16, you're at Disney World.
Yes.
Okay, and what happens?
And a scout approached us. And, when we first were approached, I think naturally you think it's a scam or it's a little bit of a weird situation, right? Especially coming from Virginia. Yeah, my parents were a little bit skeptical. Obviously, they spoke to that model scout for a while, and then they said, this could be an important opportunity, and they were open to it. And I think a lot of people were surprised about that because usually, especially Indian parents, they're so focused academics, becoming a doctor or engineer. And no, they were very open and supportive. And I met with the number one agency at the time. And when they signed me, my parents were like, okay, let's make it work.
Okay, so you're living in New York. Are one of your parents with you, or you have someone sort of looking out for you?
Oh, well, my mom, she was back and forth with me. So at that time, I just finished my junior year of high school. I was 17, and then my mom was just coming as much as she could. It was very interesting because I had to kind of manage a household, go to school, develop as a model, not even knowing what that really meant. And my parents had so much trust in me. I can't say that I would do the same with my daughter because it's a little bit scary, right? You're going to this big city and you're exposed to all of these things, and you have to be able to be responsible enough to handle it. So, I give them a lot of props for that.
Okay, so while that's happening, are you thinking in the back of your mind, all right, this is just for a little while, then I'm going to go back to college?
Yeah, I think it was almost like a deal with my parents. Okay, we'll see what this opportunity can bring. And I was always going to go to college. There was never a question of not going to school because education is so important. And I think that's something that no one can take away from you, right? Having your own power, your knowledge. And so it was like a deal. And I said, okay, let's do this. Let's see what happens. And it'll be an amazing experience. If nothing happens, you've traveled the world, you've learned to work and juggle and manage things and worked with amazing creatives. And so, yeah, it definitely took a 180, right? I had no idea it was going to be the career that it turned out to be.
So did you ever think, oh, I want to delay college for a little bit and just play this out some more? Or how did you sort of decide when it was time to say goodbye to that?
Well, I never really said goodbye to it. I took 2 years between high school and college, and that was the time where I traveled to all the international markets, and I spent 3 to 4 months in each market meeting the clients, developing my portfolio. And so that was a great time because literally I wasn't in school. I could just bounce around, and that's such a weird thing to like not really have a place you're living, but just moving and learning. And so I started college, just 2 years afterwards. I feel like I could have taken more time, but I didn't want to. So I just thought, you know what, I have to make it work. I have to be able to juggle, being a full-time student, a full-time model. And at that time, I think things were just starting to take off, and I had my bearings and understanding of what I could do with the career.
Okay, so you're at Columbia, you're a full-time student, and then you're also a model. How did you find people to date?
Oh, gosh.
I would think they would be, very, I don't know, intimidated.
I mean, I think it was strange because people already had this idea of who I am, right? And I think, yes, it can be a little intimidating. I think sometimes people are surprised at how just normal and warm and just nice I am, which is crazy because I'm like, do I give off that sort of vibe?
But you don't.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a little challenging, but I did have a boyfriend at the time, and so I was with him for a few years, and I think just that balance of schoolwork and also the personal relationship was a little hard. I wasn't around that much. I think, I had really late nights at the library, or I was flying back from Paris to take an exam. You just have to be intentional about trying to make relationships work and putting some time aside. I definitely wasn't great at that. And, I'm no longer with that person. So, yeah, now I'm much better at that.
All right. So you're doing that, but your next step is going to not be finance, not be medicine.
Right.
How did that decision come about?
During my last year of school, I ended up working at an investment firm, and I was on their direct deals team. And, at that point I was like, okay, I'm going to get a real job, right? And maybe work at a bank. I was doing all the interviews. I feel like people, especially at Columbia, when you're in this one track, it's a very streamlined pipeline. I think that when I was working at that firm, I was getting to work with founders and just understanding what it's like to start your own business. And I'd always thought maybe I could do that, but it just exposed me to real founders working so hard. They were so passionate. And then it kind of opened my eyes to maybe I could do this. And I already had this idea because I had grown up with holistic beauty and this approach that really wasn't mainstream. It really wasn't seen in the wellness industry. And I had worked with Daria Myers, who became a huge mentor for me. And she worked at Estee Lauder for 40 years. And we just started talking. So it was a very big, eye-opening moment.
Okay, so you decide, all right, I think I can do this from scratch.
Right. Yes. I had no idea what that meant. And I'm so glad that I had what it was supposed to be a 5-minute coffee ended up being an hour and a half long conversation just about beauty and what the industry is missing. And it was a really fun moment.
Okay. So you got this spark of, okay, there is a need here, right? That I can help fill.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you take that thought from there to, all right, now I've got to make a product. Right? I've got to hire people to help me do that. And then I got to figure out how to sell it.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot to do. And you got to finance it. But it sounds like you financed it.
Yes. It was a lot of open-ended questions, a lot of things I didn't have the answer to. And, I think it was really overwhelming in the beginning. I mean, I have great mentors. And, at the time, Daria and I really worked on this together. So, I knew nothing about product development. I mean, I knew about the concept. I knew that I wanted this, clinically effective holistic skincare. I wanted skincare that brought these sensorial experiences that made women feel really good, and had no idea how I was going to create those experiences or even the products. But she gave me a lot of direction and advice, and then it was just taking it one step at a time. Because otherwise you'll be paralyzed. And sometimes I would get that way where I would think that it was so much and I'd just be super paralyzed.
Okay, so you start Prakti Beauty. Where's the name come from?
So the name Prakti is my name, Pritika plus Shakti, and Shakti means female power. So the idea is just empowering women through holistic self-care. And when I hear from our audience just how good they feel after using our products, that's what makes me the most excited. So, that was always my intention. And it's really just showing women that through balance, mind, body, and consciousness, they're able to, optimize their well-being and not only look great, but feel great.
All right. So you were nice enough to send me a box of products.
Yes. Did you try them?
Yes, I did. First of all, the packaging is great, right? The colors are so vibrant. And the thing that I thought was the coolest was the exfoliating powder.
Oh, yes.
That you just add a few drops and then it turns a completely different color. It's like a purpley kind of
it's like an amethyst purple. Yeah.
Right. And I guess it's sort of a rice.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I love that you go to the exfoliator because I feel like a lot of people love that like surprising moment of this color change.
Yes.
And that's the whole idea. Just just appealing to all the senses, right? Mm-hmm. It is really crazy. Like that was the first product I launched and probably the hardest. We went through so many iterations and, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I'm like, oh, it can be a little better. And so that can sometimes take you back. So you have to just be like, this is great. And so that was a really exciting moment because it was out there and I'm like, oh my God, what are people going to do? Are they going to love it? Or
are you ever I know it's offered online and I think Goop and Revolve.
Yes, Revolve, Goop, Credo, Amazon.
And a soon-to-be named department store.
Yes.
But so when you're somewhere and you see someone with your products, how does that must feel super exciting.
Oh, it's so exciting. I love when people are like even feeling the products, they're smelling them. I love being in store and kind of seeing this like real-time reaction because I learn a lot, but I'm also just like, I'm like holding my breath. I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to think?
Does anyone sort of look over and go, wait a minute, that's you?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes. And I love being recognized as the founder of Prakti. I think in a lot of my work, people recognize me as a model or, through some other work that I do, but I love being known as the founder because it makes me feel like, wow, people are loving the products, they're enjoying them, they're somehow integrating them into their lifestyle and feeling good about it. So that excites me a lot.
While you're creating this, you're also modeling.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, how do you find the time?
I mean, I've gotten a lot better with juggling everything. But, even when I was in school, I was full-time taking classes and traveling and working. And really at that time, I was building my career. So I've always been pretty good at just prioritizing what's important right now and what I can push off and get back to. So being really intentional with your time. And I'm definitely a workaholic and I try to be more balanced now. And, I think being a founder, like you don't really have, if you wanted to work all the time, you could, because there's always so many problems. There's so many things that need your attention right now, but you have to be really just focused and say, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to go see my family, just trying not to get burned out. Time management is so important. So yeah, I do try to just be really great about that. And sometimes the brand requires more and I need to take a step back. And even with my career now, I'm able to kind of pick the projects that I want to be involved in, which has helped a lot because it's only, as a spokesperson or, using my voice and my platform to work with brands that align with my values. You don't really get those opportunities when you're first starting out. So yeah, it's definitely a balancing act.
So what's your best sort of time management trick that allows you to focus and not waste time?
Definitely not just to-do lists because
not to-do lists.
Yes, don't just.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because if you do to-do lists, like just, you're listing out all the things you need to do. It becomes very overwhelming and then you're not really focusing on, okay, I can do this in this amount of time. So it's time blocking, but also have lists of things that you don't need to do.
Okay, what's on your not to-do list?
I mean, don't scroll for hours on social media. Okay. It's also, sometimes it's like, okay, you don't need to clean today. Like, there are just things that maybe you want to do every day that you can't do every day. You can maybe do it a couple times a week. Don't watch TV.
Okay.
Right. Like, if I'm binging a show and I'm kind of like addicted to it, I'm like, no, you can't do that. So just things like that. And then for time blocking, like you just put in a task and you say, I'm going to allocate 30 minutes to it, and really try to stick to it. If you don't stick to it and you kind of go over, you catch yourself and you're like, okay, this is the time I had allocated and this is what I need to get done. Otherwise, I could spend so much time on one task and then it would just be like counterproductive because I don't send the email out. I spend an hour writing it, but I don't send it.
You know the saying, perfect is the enemy of good enough.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because then you don't do it.
Right.
But you're waiting for it to be perfect.
Yes.
I had that problem in school too, where I would wait till the last minute before submitting an essay because I'm like, let me read it again. Maybe I can make it even better. Right. But it would be so stressful. Like, why did I do this to myself?
So what are your ambitions for this brand and where do you think you can take it?
You know, right now we have our 10 products. We started with one and 3 years later, here we are. I think my goal with Prakti was always to have this platform where we can empower women, where we can give them the tools to be their best. So, you know, we're starting with skincare. I'm hoping that we can expand across categories. I'm thinking of more of a lifestyle brand in a way, because for us, it was never just about beauty and skincare. It was so much more. It was about this holistic approach to living, right? And so I'm hoping that we'll be able to expand into different categories. Obviously, we have a lot of retail expansion coming up. And, you know, just I think at the end of the day, it's like being able to share how to optimize your wellness and your well-being through, like, say, practices like meditation, breathing, like just so much more than, I guess, the product form. So at the end of the day, hopefully it's a whole wellness platform, and hopefully we have so many more points to reach our audience.
So I know you signed a CAA representation deal. Tell us about that, and how does that fit in with what you're trying to do?
Well, I think that the reason I signed with CAA is because they are true experts in so many different areas, right? So I was traditionally with modeling agencies, and when you get to a point and you realize you have this amazing platform and they have so many different areas of representation that really open you up to different opportunities. So even with Prakti, I mean, they've been such a tremendous help, just kind of charting out, okay, who are the right partners? You know, where can we reach our audience best? You know, we're even talking about doing a podcast soon. There's just, there's a lot of fun, different paths that I never thought that I could have. And things I can't talk about now, but very exciting and wonderful team. So I'm thrilled. It's just been since November and we're working on like 3 new projects. So I couldn't be happier. All
right. So what do your parents think of this career?
They think it's a little bit confusing. You know, I think they've understood it. They love what I'm doing and they're super supportive about it. But I think just not being in this world, it can be a little bit of just like oh, well, why did you do that? Or what was going on there? How does this connect to this? But everything is so intertwined. And so my parents love to be involved in it to some degree, and I speak to them every day.
You do? That's so nice.
Oh yeah, they're my best friends and just my biggest supporters, and I definitely wouldn't be as positive and balanced and motivated without them, because I think they just drown me. Like you have to feel that groundedness, and so
there something goes wrong, you call them first?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think it's probably them, or I just need to sit with myself before I speak to anyone. Otherwise, I may be a bit dramatic, to be honest. I might be. So, I try to call them, and they are very supportive of just this whole career and kind of how it's evolved. And I don't think they ever imagined it being what it is today. Right. So, I mean, I'm so glad that they were open to me even starting it.
So they've let go of the doctor thing.
Oh, yes. I think they've had to let go of that. My brother's about to graduate from medical school.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so we were talking about it, and I'm like, can you imagine? I would have been like, you know, an optometrist. Maybe he would have been an ophthalmologist. We could have had a family practice
together.
Yeah. But he definitely feels like I'm just where I need to be.
All right. I want to switch back for a second about your leadership style.
Okay.
How has that evolved as you've grown the company? How would you describe yourself as a CEO?
I'm definitely open, collaborative. I think when you first start out, especially as a young female founder, you want everything to be so perfect. You want to be taken really seriously. And that can just allow you to put like a barrier up, and that's not necessarily a great thing. So I've learned to like let that down a little bit. I've learned to be much more like even vulnerable with my team. I think it's important to know what you're not good at versus pretending to be good at everything, which I think in the beginning people do. You know, they are like, okay, you kind of fake it till you make it, but then you get to a point where you need to be collaborative. You need to open up to your team about what you're comfortable with, what you're not. So it's become much more of a collaborative environment. And I just like to empower my team members to do what they do best and, you know, to know that they have my full support. And even if things don't go as planned, it's okay because things are not perfect. And even though I'm very much a perfectionist, I think setting a good example is important, but not holding others to the standards maybe you hold yourself to, because it can be hard and it can be a bit intimidating.
What are you really good at as a CEO?
I mean, I think I'm really good at empowering people to do their best at their tasks. I think I'm really good at wearing many hats and just making sure that we're operating most efficiently, kind of just keeping us really aligned to our brand values, our mission, our foundation, because that gets lost sometimes. So it's staying true to that and also keeping in mind the overall vision of the brand. And it evolves and things change, but I think I'm good at that. And I'm still learning what I'm great at. I hope that I find more and more of my strengths.
What are you not good at? What are you, all right, I got to fix this, or I got to farm it out or something?
Oh gosh, I mean, many things. I'm not a full-on digital marketing expert. That's one thing. I don't go in our back end and look at all of our ads and how efficient we are. I think I tried to do that and I was not successful because I don't live and breathe that every day. And you have to find now we have an amazing CMO. His name's Bob. And yeah, I mean, he lives that every day. And just watching him, how he like surgically changes things. It's just with such precision, and you know when someone knows what they're doing, right? And you can't just learn and have a decade of experience with every single thing. So like that was something I definitely wasn't good at. I'm definitely not good at being spread too thin, because when I'm spread too thin...
You're not good at... You spread yourself too thin?
Yeah. When I spread myself too thin, I'm not good at being 150% committed to one thing. I mean, I hate half-ass things. I like to be really engaged and involved. And when I can't do that, and I don't feel like I'm doing a good job, that really gets me down.
I understand what you're saying. Is there any particular business woman that you look at and say, all right, I want to be like she is?
Oh, there's many. I mean, I feel like it's not even just business women. I think it's also, I look at like also even my mother and I'm like, oh, I want to be like her in the future because she's so pure, so balanced, and is like the glue in our family. You know, I feel like businesswomen, I mean, there's so many, but like, you know, in Indra Nui, like I think like she's amazing. What she's done in her career, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you met her?
I know her daughter, Preeta, really well. I met her at Preeta's wedding. And she even said something about Prakti. She's like, oh, I love what you're doing.
Really?
You're right.
Or were you like, yes?
And it was like in passing, coming out in an elevator. And I was just like, oh my gosh. It was really nice.
I bet if you called her up and said, would you just have coffee with me? I bet she would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think so. I mean, I can't imagine how busy she is. But yeah, it would be great to spend more time.
Did you learn anything from your modeling career that's helped you as a CEO?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think you learn to manage so many different things, like whether that's time management. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just having this resilience, like being able to fight against some harsh criticism. You have to have really tough skin in the modeling industry, and it's similar in business where you can't let every single person's opinions bring you down, and you really have to know how to fight for yourself and fight for what's important to you. So, you know, those things are important. And then also just being able to connect with people, building meaningful relationships. You know, I think a lot of times people are so transactional with their relationships, and just since I started so early in my life, it was it was so important for me to have great relationships and real ones. Even as a founder, you're really nurturing these relationships and getting to know people. And it's about a network, but it's also just like surrounding yourself with people that inspire you.
All right. So Operation Smile, how did that happen? How did you get involved with that?
So Operation Smile, so we provide surgeries for children with cleft conditions. It's free surgical care, pre-care, post-care, and it goes beyond just cleft conditions. It's also having access to safe surgical care in a lot of different areas in the world where they don't have the doctors and the care that we have in the US. And I started with them in 8th grade, and I just really felt that the mission resonated with me. At that time, it was because I was going to be pre-med and I wanted to understand what it was like to, be in these ORs and work with these patients. But it became a much bigger part of my life, and we're operating across the world, and it's very, very cool to see just the transformation, in a family life and in a child going from really being worried about difficulties like eating, breathing, speaking, just things we do every day, not being able to be a happy, normal child. And when they have the surgery, it's like the whole world opens up to them. So seeing that just in person, now I've been on 5 mission trips. I mean, you want to do everything you can, right?
I mean, just seeing you, how you smile, talk about it, it must be really fulfilling.
It is. It's definitely most fulfilling work. I get so emotional about it because we're really privileged to have that type of lifestyle here, but many people don't.
Pritika, it's time for our lightning round. We have some fun questions for you, a few would you rathers, and some other ones.
Okay.
All we ask is that you just give us the first answer pops into your head.
Got it.
Don't think too hard about it. Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
That was a definitive dogs.
Dogs,
Okay.
yes. I grew up with German Shepherds. I mean, I just feel like the emotional bond with your dog is so special. I have also a teacup Yorkie right now, and they're just like your constant companion. They give you so much love, and I don't know, I find that they are like emotionally stabilizing.
I get it. The unconditional love.
Yeah.
No matter what.
No one will ever greet you when you get home like your dog.
Exactly.
No partner, no parent. It's just you and your dog.
Okay. Heels or flats?
Heels.
Dancing or running?
Dancing.
Runway or print?
Ooh, print.
Why?
I just love that, it's a full day of just like embodying a different part of yourself. It's like, you're bringing this whole moment to life, and runway is really exciting too. I mean, they're both kind of like equal, but print more because I think you learn a lot about yourself when you're just expressing a different side and you're kind of just getting so creative with it. So I enjoy that part of modeling.
Okay. Would you rather be on the cover of Vogue or reach 50 million in sales for Prakti?
50 million in sales for Prakti. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm manifesting that right now.
All right. A late night or an early morning?
Late night.
Pro tattoo or no tattoo?
I have a tattoo.
I
Pro
knew that.
tattoo.
Tell us about your tattoo.
So I have a tattoo behind my left ear, and it's both of my parents' names in Hindi. And I got it when I was 18, and I think my dad was gonna have a heart attack. But my mom actually came with me, and it's in her handwriting.
Oh,
and
really? Oh,
it
that's
is.
so nice.
So she wrote it out, and then they put it on, and I think it just really represents the closeness I have to my family, that I want them to always be with me. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would do without that bond. So I don't have any other tattoos, just that one. But I think it's always something that's very special to you. And I've never seen it with my own eyes.
Right. It's incredibly discreet if you've never been able to see it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good one. Okay. What's your best travel tip?
Oh, I think it's just sleeping on planes. You got to be able to sleep on the plane, and especially if you're traveling as much as I do, if you can't sleep in transit, you're going to have some really hard days.
One of my worst flights ever was an overnight flight to London. I went to the bathroom to get ready, took out my Ambien, dropped it on the floor.
No.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'm like, oh, what do I do? Then I realized, all right, I'll run it under the water for a little bit, and then all the part that touched anything will be
fine.
Right. And then I realized I could have just stood up and said to anyone, does anyone have an extra Ambien or something on an overnight flight?
Yeah, like a melatonin or
anything. I think I could have gotten a lot of things.
Oh,
That would be
sure.
my best travel tip ever. Okay, so you got a splashy event to attend at 6 p.m. When do you start getting ready, and what's your routine?
So I usually start getting ready 4 hours before an event. And I know
Wow,
that feels like a long time,
it does.
but
Especially
glam.
when you're starting from where you're starting.
Thank you. Well, it's a whole process. I think
Mhm.
we have a lot of fun as a team. And, it starts with skincare and then it goes into hair and makeup, which usually takes about 2 hours. And then even getting the look on. I mean, I like to play some nice music, just have everyone enjoy because we spend a lot of time with our glam team. So I'll also do, some meditation, some breathing, but like in my skincare moments, like I kind of combine those. And then when I'm in hair and makeup, I'm usually doing some work or we're just like jamming out to some music, having a good
What's
time.
your music? What's your like getting ready music?
I feel like it's a mix between The Weeknd. I love The Weeknd. And then also I love Taylor Swift. I love like Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Kind of like poppy. And then sometimes if I'm really just feeling like I want to dance, it's like some Bollywood music or it's just anything that makes you feel upbeat and happy.
So it's a festive atmosphere. You're getting ready.
It's
Okay.
definitely festive. It takes a minute to get all styled up. And then sometimes I'm prepping for like an interview on the carpet or there's a lot more I think that goes into it than people think. And it's also the content before. So the photos and the videos, like just making sure you have everything you need before you walk out the door.
I'm curious, when you see a photo of yourself, what's your response to that?
I think that it can be good or bad. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I was like mid-word there. But it's like the one that like it's in the Daily Mail, sometimes it's not like the most flattering photo. But I feel like I see so many photos of myself, so I'm not like super critical. Sometimes I'm like, oh, why? And then sometimes I'm like, oh, great. It depends. I always hope it's flattering, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one, 2 parts. What is the best investment you've ever made and the worst? And the term investment can be very broad. It could be a class. It could be anything.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the best investment I made is with my people, right? So in my relationships, with my team, nurturing relationships, I think is really important. So you're investing your time, your effort. That's like really the investment that will always give back to you and that you'll have these relationships for life. And that's super important. And then worst investment, I think, is trying to invest all of your time doing everything, like, for example, in the company, like trying to do or wear 8 different hats, right? You're not doing anything really well and you're burning out like crazy. So I think that's probably the worst, which everyone kind of starts doing when they're so early developing a brand and a business. Like you just have to be able to delegate and to know when enough is enough and invest in what makes you feel balanced and fulfilled, not burning out every day.
All right, that's a really good answer. Pritika, thank you so much for being here. I wish you so much luck with Prakti. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Well, I'm so happy we had this opportunity. I'm so happy to meet you. Thank you for having me.
You can find more information about Pritika's company at praktibeauty.com and follow her on Instagram. It's at Pritika Swarup. Wishing you all a beautiful week. We'll have another great conversation soon. Until then, onward.